We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell, smash the like button, share the video if you want to support our college football's Rebel Outpost with a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Just hit that $sign where you make a comment, and I'll be getting to you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. Quarterback portal mania has hit today. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Now, I got some strong opinions on a few of these guys. On a couple of these guys, I can be persuaded. So we are going to go through the list of quarterbacks who are intending to enter into the transfer portal starting January 2nd. Now, we know that the discussions have already started, agents, quarterback, and it is... some of these changes could have a wild effect on teams next year. Look, when Fernando Mendoza went in the portal And when Indiana got him, even I, the Minnesota moron, I said, oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Everybody's in trouble. Fernando Mendoza completed 67, I think it was 0.1%. It was a little bit over 67% of his passes at California Berkeley, when he was one of the top 5 quarterbacks who have the highest percentage of dropbacks. He got pressured, he got sacked, and yet Mendoza had that type of year at California. We all knew, we all knew when he went to Indiana under Kirk Cinetti. We knew that something special was about to happen. I did not think it was going to get to this level. 13-0, Big Ten champions, Fernando Mendoza, a Heisman winner. So when you're looking at these quarterbacks, who've just entered the portal, you might say, well, Greg, it did not work out for them with their last team. Excuse me. Great. If these guys were really as good as you believe they are, they would have shined where they're played. They should not have to leave. Well, except for there are plenty of examples of quarterbacks who left one spot and went to the next, and then they developed like crazy. And it's not just Fernando Mendoza. Look at Bo Nix. Look what he did when he left Auburn to go to Oregon. It blew my mind. Could the same thing happen to Dylan Raiola? Don Scruggs? Could it happen to Dylan Raiola now that he's leaving Nebraska? And if he goes out to Oregon? Because it sure does seem like there is steam that Dante Moore is going into the NFL draft after this Oregon Ducks playoff run. That seems to be what is about to happen. Let me go through, thanks for everybody for joining us today. I very much appreciate it. Culture Provocateur, Colorado. Is that a Colorado Buffalo, or is that that looks like a buffalo up there? Rod is in the house. Ooh. The Cornhusker, Skaven, yes, is here. And now he says, take that $3.5 million, take that money that you were given to Raiola, and spread it out and get some offensive linemen. Get some offensive linemen in the portal. That is what Skaven, yes, wants to happen. Bimba 75, 79, thanks for coming on in. The portal changes everything. Ooh, look at this. Thank you for coming on in, Bimba 75, 79. Laura Weiss, the Red Raider. Salisbury girlfriend just committed to Texas Tech volleyball. Now, can I ask a couple of questions? Was Sorsby's girlfriend where was she playing before? Was she in high school? Was she a freshman in college? A sophomore in college? Where was she playing? If Laura Weiss knows that, let me know. If anybody else knows that, let me know. But that is very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Will Brennan Sorsby, will his next stop be at Texas Tech? Now, a lot of people are making jokes that Dylan Raiola's next spot will be Texas Tech, following the footsteps of his hero, I guess, Patrick Mahomes. But it's already been reported that the Red Raiders are not interested. They're looking somewhere else. Could it be they looking at Brendan Sorsby? Thanks for coming on in. Laura Weiss, Christopher Hooters in the house. Go Tigers. We've got Anthony, we've got Zero Wiz, So Long, Aiden Childs. Aiden Childs is in the portal. We are going to be going through that information here in a little bit. Where do you think Aiden Childs is going to end up? I'm going to give you my opinion on Aiden Childs and all these quarterbacks. I have a very strong opinion on most of these guys, but there's at least one guy I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't really know where he's going to end up and how he is going to perform. The architect, college football keeps entertaining. Don Scruggs, this is what happens after you don't give Gunnar Stockton the Heisman. You know what's more important than the Heisman, Don Scruggs, is to win the national championship. Can Gunnar Stockton lead the Georgia Bulldogs to a national championship? I think the answer is yes. I think it can happen. I don't think it will happen, but I definitely think it can happen if you give the ball to Frazier. If you give the ball to Frazier. Humble Bumble Duck is in the house. He's getting ready for that James Madison football game on a late Saturday evening. Late Saturday evening in Eugene, Oregon. Oregon, James Madison. The winner will play the Red Raiders. Stephen McNeely's in the house. Rich Austin is here. John Teal is in the house. Son of Sarek. John Uzi is here. Bruce Harris is here. So she went to Cincy. Okay. So she was going at the same school as Brendan Sorsby. All right. All right. Mr. Mazio, $5 holler super chat. Both these guys are overrated. Nothing between the ears. Good God, my Buckeyes dodged a bullet on Raiola. Wow, Mr. Mazio comes out firing. I do not have the same impression of Raiola, nor do I have, I got my issues on DJ Lagway I'm going to get to in a moment here. Raiola is a mixed bag. And we'll get to him in a moment. I don't think it's... Unfortunately, Raiola's weakness going into year 3 is the same weakness that he had in going into year 1. So I don't know if it's a case of whoever was coaching him just could not develop that in him, or he just can't break that barrier. He can't pull the trigger. I don't know, but we're all going to find out wherever he goes next. And if it's Oregon, they must believe that they can get it all repaired for Raiola because he hangs on to the ball way too long. And at Oregon, you got to get rid of the football fast. Thank you, Mr. Mazio. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for the $5 holler. Preston from Greensboro. Rumor is Petrino may be on a short list for the OC at UNC. Wow. Bobby Petrino and Bill Belichick together. Woo! Baby. Mick Stevens, Go Frogs, beat USC. Thanks for coming on in. Mick Stevens, I appreciate it. Jay Chapman is in the house. MBM. They're all going to Tech. I don't think they're all going to Tech. Maybe one of them. I do like the Texas Tech backup quarterback this year. What was his name? Number 15. I forget his name, but he's pretty good quarterback. Looks like a pretty dang good quarterback. So who knows? Maybe Texas Tech does not get one out of the portal. 21 Bucket 21 says, I like Lagway. We're going to be talking about him in a moment. Kenneth Maynard, big old super chat. Thank you, Mr. Pirate. Kenneth Maynard, newest Florida grad. Well, congratulations, Mr. Maynard. Fantastic news. Walked across the stage in the Holy Smokes Theater. Got my master's on Saturday. Still a Pirate, always a Pirate, but also a Gator. Congratulations. Wow. Congratulations, sir. Beautiful. Thank you for the $10 holler, Kenneth Maynard. I very much appreciate your generosity. Congratulations on that incredible achievement. A Pirate and a Gator, a Masters. Wow. You're a smarter man than I am, but that ain't saying much. But you are a smarter man than I am. Congratulations, Mr. Pirate. Oh, and Mr. Gator. Mayor McCheese, Raiola to the Chiefs as Mahomes stand in for commercials. Keep it chopping. Raiola can be good. Nebraska just sucks. Avery Johnson to Nebraska. I have not heard that Avery Johnson is looking to go in the portal. Right? I have not heard that. Plenty of schools that could use Raiola. Yes. They're just going to have to. They just got to get him. They got to get Raiola to get rid of the football. He hangs on to it. He doesn't have that quick delivery. And he doesn't often grip it and rip it when he needs to. But when it comes to some throws during the football game, Dylan Raiola is spectacular. There are throws that he makes that other guys cannot make. They don't even attempt to make them. His arm talent is incredible. He completed 72% of his passes. He did not have a good offensive line. That's not Dylan Raiola's fault. He just did not help his offensive line. He did not help his offensive line at all. So there was two problems there. The offensive line and Raiola. And wherever he goes next, they're probably going to have a better offensive line than Nebraska gave him the first 2 years. But they got to get him to get rid of the damn football. Don't sit there and get sacked. Don't sit there and... He is very frustrating to watch because he's got such great talent. Caden Holzer to Florida or North Carolina. That is the East Carolina Pirate quarterback who is being mentioned now. I think he threw for what? 3,300 yards? I don't remember the number. Threw for a lot of yards this year. Will Hammond, that's the backup quarterback. Thank you, Laura Weiss. Appreciate it. Will Hammond looked pretty good to me. Now he's coming off an injury. I don't remember how serious it was. But Will Hammond looked like he could run around, that he could throw the football. Outlaw Skis is in the house. Eva Badger. Does Carter Smith stay or go? I don't know. Eva Badger. Let us know what you think. Ryan Willie. Rock and Rant. Yes, we are going to be talking about DJ Lagway here in a moment. A member for 23 months. You are knighted officially again. Cloak and Dagger. Rock and Rant, Mr. Hurricane is saying in the super chat, not his super chat, but his membership chat, keep DJ wrong way, far, far, far away from my Canes. The Gators broke him. Will take a year to fix him before he recovers. Congrats, Kenneth, though. Kenneth Maynard on his Masters. Did the Gators break DJ Lagway? Did they actually break him? Or was he broken before he got there? You know what? I'm going to start out with DJ Lagway. We've got a lot to get through when it comes to the quarterback going in the portal. I have way more concerns about DJ Lagway than I do with Brendan Sorsby, than I do with Dylan Raiola. We'll get to that in a moment. Thank you, Rock and Rant. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much for your generosity and for your friendship. Thank you so much. Ricky Tungate, Mr. Hoosier, massive super chat. Holy smokes. Ricky Tungate, $49.99 super chat. My goodness. Thank you, Mr. Hoosier. Wow, you are, now you get the week off here. You get the week off. But you're going to be watching that Friday night game, Alabama and Oklahoma. Ricky Tungate is going to be studying it. He's going to be studying the All-22 film. He's going to be breaking it down. And then early next week, Ricky Tungate in the chat room or with the phone call is going to let us know all the weaknesses of Alabama and Oklahoma and how the Indiana Hoosiers are going to exploit all of it and crush Bama or crush the Sooners. Ricky Tungate, thank you so much for your super chat. I very much appreciate it. Whatever happened to JD, the Florida State caller? I talk to JD once in a while. On X, I think he's doing good. I don't think he's too happy with the Mike Norvell. The Seminoles keeping him for another year. Hopefully he calls during the offseason. He usually calls during the offseason. So that's what I'm hoping for. Thank you, Ricky Tungate. Thank you so much for your incredible generosity. Thank you so very much. Surgery. Got it. ACL. But he should be okay by the start of the year, right? Because it was earlier in the year that he got the ACL torn. Hopefully he'll be ready to go by August camp. Stormy Cyclone is in the house. Hello, everyone. The only thing colder than the weather is Greg's picks. I went 7-2 last week. My record is 84-87. Your guys' records are 85-86. And we are going to start the monologue today, picking the 4 games. You guys go first, I go second. And this is where I'm going to catch you, and this is where I'm going to pass the PATC Einsteins. Today I'm going to pass the PATC Einsteins. You guys have a 1-game lead. 85-86. I'm 84-87. But I'm on a roll, baby. I am on a roll. Daniel Gorby, DJ Lagway to Miami. Daniel Gorby is praying that Lagway goes to Miami. I don't see it, man. I even put in the an X comment here. Max Chadwick on X, football analyst, PFF, co-host of PFF's college football show. He says, my potential landing spots for Lagway: Baylor. His dad, Derek, played for the Bears, and the Baylor will be losing Sori Robertson. So DJ Lagway, that might be a natural spot for him to go to Baylor. James Madison, follow head coach Billy Napier. LSU could thrive in a Lane Kiffin offense, which is centered around vertical throws. I did not know DJ Lagway could make vertical throws. And Miami be the next project. He's not going to Miami. Also, Tennessee and Oregon as potential spots. And then I posted, I can't believe Miami and LSU would be interested. Really? I would be absolutely shocked if Miami is interested in DJ Lagway or LSU. I think LSU would be no way. No way. I cannot see it. I'll get to my opinion on DJ Lagway in a moment. I don't want to bury the young man. He could end up being a very good quarterback. But there's no way Miami's going to go to DJ Lagway. Bob Swanger is in the house. Darren Mensah and Summerall reunion in Gainesville, perhaps. Lee Go Gators. Just arrived. Got to say I'm not particularly reassured. We don't exactly have something lined up. Maybe the Darren Mensah, maybe the Mensah thing. But again, is losing DJ Lagway, is that really something that's going to hurt the Gators? What do you guys think about DJ Lagway? I'm going to give you my opinion in a moment. I got hurt in game 9. I thought it was earlier in the season. Thank you, Laura. Greg, do you think the $500 million the Big 12 is looking to bring in will at least somewhat be used as a war chest to help ACC teams pay off their ACC exit fees? No, I do not. No, I think the $500 million, it could be above $500 million. If every Big 12 team takes that $30 million credit line, I don't think any of it's going to be used for that. I think it's going to be used to make sure that Big 12 schools can do the rev share, can do make sure they can pay their staffs and recruiting budgets, maybe build some premium seating really quickly, get money back on the premium seating, things of that nature. I don't think any of it's going to be used to poach ACC schools. That money is going to individual schools, and I think if they want that $30 million, they're going to want it in their pockets. And then the Big 12 is going to get some money off that deal, the conference, to build this for-profit entity. So I don't think any of it's going to be. I could end up wrong, Tom. Just giving you my opinion. I don't think any of it's going to be used for that. Stormy Cyclone, Greg, do you think the Utah deal is more for them trying to buy their way in the Big Ten than a cash infusion? They're not trying to buy their way in. They just don't want to make. They first of all, they got to be doing it for more than one reason. It can't just be about the Big Ten. They got to think this is going to work. that's setting up this for-profit entity in the Utah Athletic Department where it is shared with the university and the donors of the university. It's like a three-legged stool. The university has the largest leg, and then the donors and this entity are going to have the two other legs to keep up this three-legged table upright. They got to believe in that to do this. I think it's about making sure to give best odds as possible that Utah doesn't slide backwards. In the next 3 years, they compete at the highest levels in football, try to get their basketball program, try to possibly make improvements in the stadium, beautiful fan base. This is about making sure no rock is unturned, in my opinion. There's a Big Ten component to this effort. In my opinion, there's no question about it. But it just is not about the Big Ten. What year is Lenore Sellers? I do not know what year it is. I think it's a junior, but it don't matter. He's coming back to South Carolina. Now, I've got hope. Thank you for bringing up Lenore Sellers. I might be a sucker on this, but I actually got hope for Lenore Sellers. I think he can get to the next level, and I think he can do it at Columbia. I think he can do it at South Carolina. But I don't think the same way with DJ Lagway. I'll get to that in a moment. Daniel Gorby, I'd be surprised, but Florida State would love to see Lagway go to Miami. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about DJ Lagway right now. Lego Gators before the season, he was a Heisman contender. I don't know how he was a Heisman contender. Look, I thought he had a decent, true freshman season. I said that during the offseason. I thought Lagway and Raiola both had a decent, good, true freshman season. To me, he was not a Heisman contender. You don't go, I forget what his numbers were. You don't go from freshman season throwing 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, something to that effect, and then become a Heisman contender your next year. I don't see that. But let me tell you what I think about DJ Lagway. He might end up being a very good to great college football quarterback. There's a couple of things. One is, I get that he was injured. There's no question that he played injured last year. Not hurt, not just hurt, but he had some injury in his shoulder. Almost every time he threw the football downfield, it looked like he had to have both of his legs under him to be able to throw a 45-yard pass. Like he could not just wing it out there. He had to have his whole body underneath him. I'll give you an example. And I told one of my friends of mine this when I watched DJ Lagway play. Now, I didn't always used to be fat and old and slow, okay? I used to be skinny. I used to play basketball. I played a lot of basketball in my life. Terry Nor, Dan Leonard, Jeff Olson, when they go in the chat room, they have told you I played a lot of basketball in my life. And you know, when you play basketball and you're young and you're skinny and you're young, right? You're going up and down the court, you get a pass. You can almost get any shot off that you want. Just because you're in shape, you're athletic, whatever. The day that I knew that I was getting old, like old when it comes to playing top level sports is I was 35 years old, which is young. But when you're playing, when you're not a professional athlete, when you're playing against guys who are in their 20s, and we were at the time at the gym, it was the first game of the season. We were playing in this intramural basketball in the junior high school at Robbinsdale. That junior high school is no longer junior high school. It's no even longer a community center. I think they brought the whole thing down. I'm not sure. We were playing intramural basketball. First game of the season. We had in practice. It was the middle of winter. We were all coming in there with our hamstring as tight as possible. We were all out of shape. We all had gained pounds. I'd go out on the basketball court, but I'm thinking to myself, this is not going to be a problem. I had a guy do a pick my guy in the baseline. I circled around. I got a swing pass. I'm at the 3-point line. I get the basketball. I'm about to go up for a shot. I had to reset myself. And then I hauled up a shot. And then I said to myself, my God, it took everything that I had to put up a shot with any type of coordination and speed at the right tempo of the game that we were playing. I tell you this because I felt like DJ Lagway could not do anything out there last year without being completely having everything underneath them. Now, was it just his shoulder injury, or is it something else? Because I'm gonna go on with this. If you watch DJ Lagway, Scott Graber, Alabama, Lagway is someone who can develop him, or a certain style such as Vandy might be advantageous to him, but it's going to take some perfect system for him to flourish. Still needs to develop as a passer. Okay. What about as a runner? See, I don't see it in him as a runner either. How many times did he run the football, DJ Lagway, where there was an opening and he ran it, but he could only run, he could not change direction. He couldn't go right, he couldn't go left. He ran until he hit somebody. He never avoided a tackle. Am I wrong on that? SEC country. Don Scruggs, Edward the Auburn Tiger, Lee Go Gators. Am I wrong on that? Like, he could not, like, even when he was running, he couldn't adjust his body. He had a hernia removed last offseason. Okay, that might be it. I don't know, guys. Maybe it's all injuries. Maybe we haven't seen the real DJ Lagway. And in that case, all right, maybe he still has a chance. And somebody's going to take a chance on him. No question about it. But I don't think it's going to be Miami. I don't think it's going to be LSU. Lane Kiffin just brought in Trinidad Chambliss. Look what he has done. Lane Kiffin can do a lot of things with any quarterback, but I think Lane Kiffin's going to have a lot of options. And we are going to go through some of the options. Much like Samson and his hair, Lagway's hernia was his power. He can run. He never recovered from spring training. He can run, but can he run and avoid tacklers? Kenneth Maynard, Lagway would do very well at the American school like Memphis, ECU, Tulane. All right, well, let's go through some of these stories here. Let's go through them. And then we'll make some picks against the spread. And then we'll get to your phone calls. How about that? Let's start with Aiden Childs. Again, Anthony Carlson, Zero Wiz is in the chat room. Michigan State, Aiden Childs plans to enter the NCAA transfer portal. Started with Oregon State, went to Michigan State, and his play has not caught fire. He was crazy inaccurate in that Nebraska football game, and I don't know if he even saw any. He didn't really see a whole lot of action after that. I have really soured on Aiden Childs. I don't think he's got it. Hopefully the young man proves me wrong, but I don't think he's got it, and I don't think he is going to land a Power 4 starting job. I think he's going to go back to G5. That's my opinion. Let me know how wrong I got it, but I think he slid mightily last year. When I watched him, I was incredibly disappointed in him. He didn't even play against Minnesota. So I don't know where he's going to. I don't think it's going to be a Power 4 program. Let me know how wrong I got it. Then we have already talked about the Lagway. Florida quarterback DJ Lagway plans to enter the NCAA transfer portal. Now Sumrall is coming in to Florida. He's coming into Gainesville. What does he bring? Darren Mensah? No, he doesn't even have Darren. Darren Mensah is at Duke. Could he re-recruit Darren Mensah from Duke? Probably not. Who are the Gators going to go after in the portal? And then you've got Brendan Sorsby. Pete Thamel, Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby has informed the school that he intends to enter the NCAA transfer portal. Sorsby told ESPN today. Sorsby is waiting on his NFL draft grade, and he'll explore transferring as he waits for feedback on the NFL draft. Now, Brendan Sorsby, you all know that I was a fan of his at Indiana. Then he went in the portal, and Cincinnati Bearcats got him for the last 2 years. He was sensational for most of the season this year for Cincinnati. They got off to a 7-1 start and then slid at the end. Brendan Sorsby's got a pretty good arm, and he can run. And as Laura Weiss just told us in the chat room, Brendan Sorsby's girlfriend has transferred to Texas Tech. The Red Raiders, they're all ready to go next year, right? But do they have a quarterback next year that can win the Big 12 championship? Is Will Hammond the answer? Or do they go in the portal? And if they do, Brendan Sorsby is a lot like the Red Baron Morton, but he's a little bit more athletic, and I think he's a better quarterback. Overall, I think Sorsby is a better quarterback. And I think maybe the Red Raiders have picked up on that, correct? Correct? Could he be going to the Red Raiders? And then Dylan Raiola. Pete Thamel, sources, Nebraska quarterback Dylan Raiola intends to enter the NCAA transfer portal. He's a true sophomore who has 2 years of eligibility remaining. He threw for 18 touchdowns, 2,000 yards, and completed 72.4% of his passes this year. Dylan Raiola, a very accurate thrower of the football. Now again, a lot of those throws are short, intermediate throws that he throws. Dylan Raiola, he doesn't often grip it and rip it and throw it downfield. Any Nebraska Cornhusker fan will tell you that he could not hit the fade pass, where the receiver kind of lines up in the slot position and then fades to the sideline, about a 35-yard pass downfield. Dylan Raiola could not hit that throw. But he could hit a lot of other throws out there. A very talented arm. A bad offensive line in front of him. Dylan Raiola spent a lot of times refusing to get rid of that football and to get sacked instead of just throwing it away. And that is why he's got a 72.4% completion percentage. He would not throw the football away like he should as a quarterback. But somebody's going to take a shot at him. Somebody is going to take a big shot at Dylan Raiola. They're going to look at his arm talent and they're going to think, yeah, man, if we get Dylan Raiola, we'll teach him, he'll develop, and you cannot replace that type of talented arm. He's going somewhere big, guys. Could it be Oregon? Dylan Raiola under Dan Lanning? With the weapons that they have, with the offensive line that they're going to have next year, Dylan Raiola in Eugene. Look what happened to Dante Moore. Look what happened to Bo Nix. Could the same thing happen to Dylan Raiola? I think it can. I think it can. I think it can work. I think it could work. Very, very interesting indeed. But there is one other quarterback in the portal right now that I like more than Dylan Raiola for next year. Now, Dylan Raiola has 2 more years of eligibility remaining. I like Raiola better than Sorsby, better than Lagway, better than Aiden Childs, of course. But there is one quarterback with 1 more year that he's going to possibly play in college football that I like even more than Dylan Raiola. And I think the college football industry also likes him more than Dylan Raiola. And that is Sam Leavitt. And these are the schools that are interested in Sam Leavitt. Oregon, Indiana, Miami, and LSU. This, to me, makes sense. I can see why Lane Kiffin would be very interested in Sam Leavitt. Miami, obviously. Indiana, please don't make that happen. Please don't make that happen. And then Oregon. This is the guy that I would target first if I was Oregon, and I bet they are. And I think Raiola would be their backup. Same thing with possibly Indiana, Miami, and LSU. I think this guy is the number 1 guy in the portal. Combination of arm, legs, being able to make plays off his schedule, being behind the chains, but still being able to make that first down because you make that big time throw, you're getting rushed out of the pocket, you find somebody loose, you deliver the football. This is the guy that I think is going to be the number 1 quarterback in the transfer portal for 1 year. When you need him for 1 year. Cignetti for this guy? Lanning with this guy? Cristobal Dawson with this guy? Lane Kiffin with this guy? Let me know if you think I got it all wrong, but I think this is the biggest domino to fall first. And then it's going to be Dylan Raiola. And then Lagway, I think, might be on a completely different tier. And then we could be looking at Brendan Sorsby to the Red Raiders. A lot of people in the chat room are hesitant about Leavitt because of his injury history, which is fair. Definitely fair. Stephen McNeely is Raiola. Is Raiola going to play in the bowl game? No, he's injured. Raiola's injured. He's on a scooter. Utah is going to whip up on Nebraska anyways. That's going to be Emmett Johnson is not playing for Nebraska, and he was their whole offense. Sam Leavitt is Tom Brady-esque. Greg, read my member chat. Anthony Mazzano. I haven't got to that, Anthony. I'll be there in a second. Hold on. So let me hear from you about where you think these football players are going. These great quarterbacks. A lot of them, I think, have the potential to have a Bo Nix type of season, a Fernando Mendoza type of season. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. Anthony Mazzano, thank you so much for being a member for 3 months. Cloak and Dagger member for 3 months. Between Dylan and Bryce, who do you feel is a better fit for Miami? Dylan Raiola or Bryce Underwood for Miami? Woo! Great question. I'm thinking about Malachi Toney. Who can utilize Malachi Toney better? Who can keep Malachi Toney happy? That's what I would be thinking if I was Miami, because that guy is a Heisman contender next year. Malachi Toney can be the best wide receiver in all of college football next year, along with Jeremiah Smith. And guys, I really don't know. What Bryce Underwood. There were times where he looked great this year. He did not have the weapons. I'm sorry, but Bryce Underwood, he did not have the weapons. And we talked about that during the offseason. It was startling how weak the wideouts were for Michigan going into this year. So Bryce did a lot with nothing when it comes to weapons. And I think it's heavily dependent on the contract. What is it going to cost to get Bryce Underwood to Miami? It's going to cost more than to get Dylan Raiola to Miami. So you got to consider that. And then can Bryce Underwood even get out of that contract with Michigan? I don't know if there's a buyout in that. I know people are talking about it. I would say Dylan Raiola might be a little bit of a better fit. But that is just I could easily be influenced that I'm wrong on that, because we don't know. I know the real Dylan Raiola. Very talented quarterback, very talented arm, has some issues in getting rid of the football, and has a difficult on the fade passes. But Bryce Underwood, I really don't know. There were times this year that Bryce Underwood looked absolutely sensational. So if I was Miami, if everything was even, maybe I'd go with Bryce Underwood. But it's going to cost more. That's a problem. All right, now guys, here we go. We got one more little bit of news here, and then we got to make our picks against the spread, and then we're going to open up the phone lines. This is such an interesting story. Holman Wiggins, the wide receiver coach of the Texas A&M Aggies, is now going to be the offensive coordinator, and he's going to be having the play calling duties in the playoffs. Colin Klein, Texas A&M offensive coordinator, now the new head coach of the Kansas State Wildcats. Holman Wiggins steps up. That is going to be a storyline people are going to be talking about. People should be talking about right now as we're about to make our picks. Texas A&M versus Miami. The Aggies are minus 3.5 point favorites. But before we made our picks against the spread, we had to put this out there, guys. You got a new offensive coordinator. You've got somebody new. You've got somebody new having the play calling duties. All right, here we go, guys. You all are going first. You all are going first. Alabama, Oklahoma. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? 4 games. You guys have a 1-game lead over Greg the Gold. And yes, I'm Greg the Gold after last week. You guys are 85 and 86. I'm 84 and 87. Does Alabama cover the minus 1.5 point spread versus Oklahoma? If you vote yes, that means you want Bama and you're willing to give 1.5. If you vote no, you're taking Oklahoma and you are going to receive 1.5. The voting begins now. Klein is still calling the plays. That's what Sports Illustrated is saying? All right. I really don't know. In fact, when Colin Klein, when the news broke that he was taking the Kansas State job, that was the news, that he was still going to call the plays for Kansas State during the playoffs. So Lee Go Gators, you are correct. I mean, that was the first news wave we heard, that Klein was still going to be calling the plays for the Aggies. But now, is that true? Is that still true? A new play caller on the offensive side of the ball. He now has play calling duties, Pete Thamel. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Five more seconds on the vote. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 71% says no. Oklahoma is going to cover. The PATC Einsteins come out strong for the Sooners. A +1.5 at home in Norman. 71% of you says yes, Oklahoma is going to cover that spread. Wow. Wow, guys, you guys know how I feel about that game. I'm a little shook by what you guys are thinking there. Here we go. What is going on at the offensive coordinator position at Texas A&M? Who is actually calling the plays? Marcel Reed versus Carson Beck. Here we go. Does Texas A&M cover the -3.5 point spread versus Miami? If you vote yes, you're taking the Aggies and you're willing to give 3.5 points. If you vote no, you're taking the Hurricanes and receiving 3.5 points. The voting begins now. Evil Badger says Oklahoma wins outright. Go Black 45, Oklahoma only wins because they are at home. Preston from Greensboro, home dogs, easy pick. Troy, I think Oklahoma wins outright. Wow. Wow. I gotta be honest. That surprises me a little bit. Gonna give you guys 5 more seconds on the vote. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 65% says no. The PATC family takes Miami. Tulane and Ole Miss. The Ole Miss Rebels playing in Oxford. Favored by 17.5 points. Does Ole Miss cover the -17.5 point spread versus Tulane? If you vote yes, you're taking the Rebels and you're giving 17.5 points. If you vote no, you're taking the Green Wave and receiving 17.5 points. The voting begins now. The Big Gun Shop, what's up, Greg? What is up, Big Gun Shop? Thanks for coming on in. Appreciate it. Scott Grable, roll Tide, who knows? Oklahoma has our number. But due to extreme homerism, I believe the Tide wins by 7. I got a feeling that Scott Grable's gonna be right. That Scott Grable's gonna be right. That Scott Grable's gonna be right. I agree with Scott Grable. I'll be making my pick in a little bit, but I got Oklahoma winning by 7. I think the PATC Einstein screwed up. 5 more seconds on the vote. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 54% says no. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. In the last game, first round of the playoffs, the PATC Einsteins got to vote on this. Oregon, Eugene, at home, favored by 21.5 points. Does Oregon cover the minus 21.5 points versus James Madison? If you vote yes, that means you want Oregon and give 21.5 points. If you vote no, that means you want James Madison Dukes and receive 21.5 points. The voting begins now. Jose's in the house. I would take it up to 46 points. BYU football, Oregon better cover. Kenneth Maynard, James Madison gets smoked. Stormy Cyclone is calling the vote a landslide. We're going to give you all 5 more seconds on the vote. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oregon, 81% of the vote. So, you all took Oklahoma, Miami, Tulane, and Oregon. Very interesting. 3 underdogs, and then you took the favorite with Oregon. All right. So, where do I start? Where do I go? Started from the top, Alabama, Oklahoma. I have been saying for quite a while that Oklahoma was going to lose their first round game, and they're going to lose this game, and I don't think it's even going to be close, really. I think Bama is going to be winning by 14 points. John Mateer is going to take the Sooners for one last drive. They do score, going for it on 4th down a couple times. They make it, onside kick. Alabama recovers. The Crimson Tide wins this game by 7. I'm taking Alabama. Miami, Texas A&M. I actually believe that Texas A&M's weakness might not be something that Miami can take advantage of. I think a lot of these teams, if they line up against the Aggies, I think they're going to be able to run against them. I think they're going to be able to line up and run against the Aggies. But I'm not sure Miami is one of those teams. But yet, I'm still taking Miami to cover. I don't think this game can be a blowout. This game is going to go down to the very last possession. Very last possession. Either way. But I'm going to be taking the Hurricanes. I'll go ahead and take the 3.5 points. Tulane and Ole Miss. Now, you all took Tulane in this game. I'm going to go ahead and take Tulane in this game. I think 17.5 points is just a little bit too much. It should be like a 15.5 point game. I think 17.5 is just a little bit too much. This Tulane team is a different team than when Ole Miss played them earlier in the season, and this Ole Miss team is different. I think Tulane covers. I agree with the Einsteins. I'm taking Tulane. James Madison and Oregon. Oregon is going to blow the doors off of James Madison. Absolutely blow the doors off of James Madison. So, I've got Alabama. You've got Oklahoma. We both got Miami. We both got Tulane. And we both got Oregon. So, we've only got one game difference here in the first round. And that's that Friday night game. And I'm one game behind you guys. All right. So, thank you, League Old Gators, for coming on in. Appreciate it. All right, guys, we are going to open up the phone lines here. Let me take a few. Yeah. Okay. Got a couple of messages here. Nothing that I can. All right, guys, we are going to open up the phone lines. Talk about anything in college football that your heart desires. Our picks against the spread are in. They're locked in for the first round of the playoffs. I took Alabama. You all took Oklahoma. We both took Miami. We both took Tulane. And we both took Oregon to cover.
Call from
Evil Badger.
Evil Badger, the floor is yours. Let it rip, sir.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Hey, I have a question about did you see the thing that Troy Aikman posted about the NIL money that he put towards a player? And then he was upset that that player left after one season, and now he won't do anything with NIL anymore.
Yeah, and that's happened to a lot of guys. They give money, and then it's like, why am I giving this money to this? Yeah.
Well, I don't know why anyone would that is famous as far as a sports entertainment would give any thing that NIL for a player that might just be gone after a year. And that's what I think is bad about the NIL situation, because I hate that it's not regulated to where they can sign contracts. And
I mean, if I owned a car wash business, right? And I wanted to give $2,500 a semester to Golden Gopher quarterback Ryan Willie to put his name, image, and likeness.
I wouldn't be going to the Golden Gophers.
Ryan Willie, Golden Gopher quarterback. We put your name, we put your image on the boards that are along the side of the car wash, so everybody sees it when they're passing through. We give you $2,500. If I'm the owner of that company and I'm seeing people talk about it, oh, there's Ryan Willie, the Golden Gopher quarterback. Oh, I want to come here again, and I see my business pick up, then it's worthwhile doing it. It's a true NIL deal. But like Troy Aikman and these guys who wrote a check, and it's not a legitimate business, they're not doing that anymore. They don't, because it's worthless. It really is worthless to do that.
They're wasting money doing that.
Yeah.
And that's why I wish that they would do contracts with all these players. 2 or 3 years. If they want to transfer in the last year, they can. Or the last 2 years, they can. this yearly Pearl merry-go-round is not fun to watch anymore. Because it's going to be the fourth. It's going to be his fourth year in a row for a different Wisconsin quarterback, especially if Curtis Smith leaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I had.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Call.
Appreciate it, Ryan Willie. Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
From
Rick?
Rick, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking real quick that if it were to go to 16, if there were a compromise to 16, Petiti could still be happy with 442213, right? That's 16.
44213?
4422.
Yeah, but yeah, well, yeah, I mean, they could do that.
Petiti be happy with that 16.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Yep. I mean, Petiti might go for that. But then again, you know, he's been working on this 4-4-4-4, and I don't know if he really wants to do that or not. I think we're going to find out shortly, Rick. Like real shortly. I know we still have like 5 weeks left, but it sounds like we might find out here in the next couple of weeks.
And 16 is the number.
Sure sounds like that. Sounds like we're going to have to make a pit stop at 16 before Army of 24 gets its dream. But we'll find out. I think we're going to find out real shortly here.
And then you're not going to like what I'm going to say next either.
Yep.
Right prior to PJ taking over the program at Minnesota, they had a real major problem on their hands, right?
Minnesota? Yeah.
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 Of a sexual nature.
It was
Of a sexual nature. Yeah.
It was it was unsupervised, unregulated recruiting parties that were going on at the University of Minnesota.
And Minnesota settled with the lady for $500,000. Okay.
I'm not going to say anything more about it. But that's
I am.
Okay.
I am. Minnesota settled for $500,000 with the young lady.
I don't know anything about it.
And then PJ came in.
Yeah.
And changed that image 180 degrees.
Yeah.
I would think that he and his agent could use that with Michigan as a selling point.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get to him, though. I don't think it's going to... I think... I have been told that it probably won't get lower than Jed Fish on that list. So... I don't think...
Well, I guess the bigger question might be, is that a goal of Michigan to have their image turned around?
It has to be their goal. It has to be their goal.
Then I would think PJ would be a viable candidate for doing that.
Yeah, and I think that's why he's being listed. I think that's why he's being listed. I don't think it's going to come to that, though. I'm not worrying really that much right now. But he would be a guy. Yes, that's his reputation. He's a hard nose. He doesn't let anything go. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, he protects the institution at all times.
Yeah. Yes.
And I would think that would be very important to Michigan in the future, given their past. I mean, they've also got. Think of the. I guess that brings up another name. Wasn't it Bill O'Brien who came in and cleaned up Penn State?
Yeah.
Could he be a candidate for Michigan?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Michigan can find guys. If it truly does, if Michigan truly cannot get Kalen DeBoer, Kenny Dillingham, if those guys truly are not going to come aboard, I don't think the list. I think Jed Fish is going to take the job if they get down to that part of the list. I really believe that. From what I've heard, I think it's Jed Fish or higher on that list.
Okay, and then last, of the contacts that you have or people who know people, is there one at Notre Dame?
Marcus Freeman?
No. I'm sorry. I switched topics. As far as the PATC Theater.
Yeah.
And people that you know and people that you know who know people. Is there any contact with Notre Dame?
From whom?
Well, I don't know, and you're certainly not going to name them. From people who know.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting the question. I've got the theater up on the screen here.
Okay, I'll try to let me rephrase it. You have a Big Ten man contact.
Yeah.
And you probably have a FSU for a money perch.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Is there a Notre Dame contact?
Oh
direct?
God! Oh God! Yes. The Notre Dame guy was the one who, because of our Notre Dame contact, we were very fortunate enough to be the ones who broke the Notre Dame to Big Ten story.
Hockey story. Okay.
And I'm putting that up on the screen here. On November 18th, 2015, according to source, Delaney is again going down the Notre Dame rabbit hole to try to bring Notre Dame hockey into the Big Ten. That was November 18th, 2015. And then just a few months later, March 23rd, 2016, it happened. And we wrote an article for 247 and all that. So I was able to break that because of that Notre Dame source. That's why we've got, to answer your question, God, yes, we do have a Notre Dame, couple of Notre Dame people that we are communications with. Yes.
Wonderful. That's where I'll end it. Thanks again.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it. Beautiful call. Beautiful call. We always get beautiful calls from Rick, Ryan, Willie. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. There is a Notre Dame money perch. But I'm not going to really describe our Notre Dame. We have known him forever. So, and there's more that I can say. I'll say this. BTM and his associates
from
Steve-O.
Steve-O? Can you hold on a
Jim
moment?
Phillips, ACC. Yes, sir.
Can you hold on a moment? I just wanted to finish my statement. B. Tim and his money perch. These are relationships that are very, very old relationships that they have with people in the money perch industry, so to speak. The big boosters across the country. A lot of times they're in competition with each other. Sometimes they're in collusion with each other. The Notre Dame people that we talk with, they are, how do I say this? Because we were fortunate enough to break the Notre Dame story long before we broke the PJ Fleck story, long before we broke the USC story and all the other stories we broke, because that is one of the oldest stories we broke. When that story broke, we got a mess. We got a lot of calls from local writers and national writers. Excuse me. God, how do I say this? The Notre Dame people that we talk to, there is chatter behind the curtain people who know our Notre Dame people are not secret. Let's put it that way. It's secret to you guys. I don't want to put it out there, but there are people that know that we know these certain Notre Dame people because they're kind of well known, and other chatter behind the curtain people use that. They go to the same source. We know our Notre Dame source is a source that other people use. I'll put it that way. Unlike these other people we know. Steve-O, go ahead. The floor is yours. Let it rip, sir.
Hey, Jim Phillips, ACC Commissioner here. Am I talking to Pete Bavacqua, Notre Dame Athletic Director?
Yes, you are. This is Pete Bavacqua. Absolutely. Don't ask me how to spell my last name, but this is Pete Bavacqua.
I think there used to be an old baseball player, Kurt Bavacqua, if I remember right.
Yes.
Decades ago.
San Diego Padres?
Yes, I think he was.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, I hear you're a little mad at me. And
yes, I am mad at you.
I wanted to throw an idea out at you. I'll tell you that I have discussed with ESPN, and they're thinking it over, and we might be able to work this out. I mean, everybody talks about, you're not a member of our conference, but there's only 2 football games per season making the difference between you being a full member. And this next season, you already got 6 ACC games. And it wouldn't take a whole lot to make that 8. For instance, you got Rice and Michigan State next year. I mean, just swapping that to like Pitt and Wake Forest would make you a full member. And we know you're very valuable. Be very valuable to the ACC. Would help strengthen the conference. I'm sure you noticed during the ACC championship game, the attendance in that stadium was not very good. And for instance, if you had been playing Miami in that conference championship game, that stadium would have probably been 85% full. So the idea that I'm trying to get through is for a way to get you to come to the conference and for you to be able to keep most of your NBC money. Now, the unofficial idea is that you keep 66% of that NBC money. And the reason I'm saying 66, 34 would go to the 17 ACC schools, so 2% per school. And you'd be able to keep, and here's the one thing right now, if you notice today, SMU was dropping a game with Baylor for next year to cut back to 8 conference games. and the talk had been whether it was going to be next year or 27 to go to 9 conference games. We would stay at 8 conference games, so you could keep 4 non-conference games. You know, so you like to play Purdue, USC, Navy, and another G6 or Power 4. So I know time to get these schedules is pretty tight and tough to do, but I'd like for you to think that over and say in the next week and see if we can work something out there.
Now you guys are going. You guys are going to 9 conference games, correct?
Yes, but we could put the brakes on that if we can work out a deal.
Yeah, and how would I know that none of you are going to leave in the next year or two to go out to the SEC and the Big Ten?
Well, that's a good question. But if you came to the conference as a full member, it really would help the conference to be a power conference.
You got it.
I mean, between you, Clemson, Miami, Georgia Tech's really gotten better. You know, we're trying to strengthen other schools. I mean, you would keep being able to. Oh, another thing I forgot to tell you is that each school would have 2 certain schools they get to play each year, no matter what, and you could keep Stanford and Boston College.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
I will think about it.
I think we could get and another thing we might do is just have this as a 4-year trial. So it's, you know, the big year we're talking about 2030, 2031, and we'd have to have it a 4-year trial and see where things go. So if other schools did leave, then you can change your direction in 2030.
All right, man. I will think about it.
All right. I appreciate your time. Hopefully we can amend our relationship and carry on.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. I appreciate it. Great call, sir. Fantastic. I mean, some of that sounds good, right? You gotta believe that Phillips and Bavacqua has had those conversations. We know that Phillips and Swarbrick had those conversations. Why don't you just join the ACC? Just add a couple of more games, and you're part of the conference, and we'll let you keep your Notre Dame games, your exposure. But for whatever reason, Notre Dame has not been wanting to do it. And now I think it's probably more difficult than ever. Even though Jim Phillips just called this show, our PATC Jim Phillips just called this show. Now it's more difficult than ever because Notre Dame has a perception that teams are going to be leaving. Jack Swarbrick said it basically a couple of years ago. And Bavacqua has said it in an interview. The ACC is not going to remain how it is. So I don't know if Notre Dame joining at this point, whatever, it would help. But John Kennedy said it best. No way Notre Dame is jumping in the Titanic. It's probably how they feel. That's probably really the answer now. Evo Badger, thank you for the great call, Steve-O. Great call. I love those very creative calls. Excellent job. Excellent job. We've got a super chat from the Evo Badger. Is there a minimum number of sports schools must support in the Big Ten? I don't know the answer to that question. I really don't. More the better. More the better. But I don't really, the Big Ten schools really want their schools to have as much sponsored sports as possible. It's important in the Big Ten culture, but I don't know if I do not have the answer to that, Evil Badger. I really don't. I really, really do not know. What is the lowest number? What school in the Big Ten has the lowest number of sponsored sports? And what is that number? Let's try to figure out that answer. But I don't know, Evil Badger. It's a great question. Moen and Rock and I were trying to figure that out. Ute doesn't want to support Olympic sports. I don't know about that. Preston from Greensboro is telling our Jim Phillips to retire. MBM, big guest on the show today. No question about it. No question about it. Northwestern has the lowest. I don't know. Son of Sarek thinks it's 19. Is that the number? It better not be a 5 plus 11. That better not be what happens. 5 plus 11 is Big Ten better not buckle for a 5 plus 11. All right, guys and gals, I appreciate you all joining us today. We are going to cut it off at 1 hour and 36 minutes. I got a very busy Monday headed. We've got a very busy week going on here. Kenneth Maynor, Rocket Rant, Ricky Tungate, Stormy Cyclone, Anthony Mazzano, Eva Badger. Thank you guys for your generosity. Thank you so, so very much. I appreciate it. I want to thank everybody who came in, watched the program, put down your comments. The phone calls were excellent once again. And again, for those who haven't done it yet, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you liked our content today. And ring that notification bell because we could come on live later tonight. If there's breaking news, we are going to be coming on live later tonight. Today was all about quarterback portal mania. And we made our picks against the spread for the first round of the college football playoffs. It's been a lot of fun. Keep your head on a swivel. Buckle up, brace for impact. Until next time, from all of us at College Football's Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much. And as always, God, family,